Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, support the show by joining the Nerd On Nation powered by Patreon. Go to nerdon.tv/Patreon and get Nerd On exclusives for as little as $1 a month. Nerd On the podcast is proud to be powered by Focusrite, Embody, creators of Immerse Gaming, Odyssey, Amazon, and TCG Player. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Nerd on the Podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome. And today we have the entire crew here talking about a particularly favored topic. Our audience on Discord has been asking about it. We touched upon it earlier last year, and we're bringing it back because we want to do it here, straight from the home of Nerd On. Today's topic is The Prestige.
Oh,
Not the
That's
book,
what we're talking
but
about?
the movie.
Oh,
Yes, we are. 2006's Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan's screenplay adapted from Christopher Priest's book,
Adaptation.
The Prestige. Without further ado, everybody, let's go ahead and introduce the host. My name is Tom.
I'm Josh.
I'm Amy.
Oh, you're watching closely. This is the Azorian one.
And I'm Corey. Hey, we did it. Look at that. We did it in the right order.
Yeah.
Real quick, every episode we give a little shout out to one of our patrons. We give a special I love you. I believe Josh sends them nudes. Or did we stop that? We stopped that. Sorry. So it's just a shout out on the episode. And for that, we'd like to dedicate this episode to Dougler93.
Dougler!
Patron since 2021, August 2021. Shout out. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support.
That's the name. That's like a name at an American Pie party scene. Yo, Dougler! What's up, Dougler?
Isn't this what the
Dougler, thank you.
nowadays?
I'm a millennial. I do it this
Kids
way.
are doing.
No,
That's how
elder
the kids
millennial
do it.
does this. Sorry.
I don't like this. I do the Korean. Yes.
Korean
You don't
heart.
like it?
Here.
You don't like this?
Oh,
I'll do this one.
I don't like
Elder
Esteves.
emo.
I like this.
I prefer that. Yeah.
Do we do
Little
the?
Beebs. Little
Esteves likes
Beebs.
this.
Yeah,
Little bees.
that's me with a little bit of Austin. Yeah.
I
there you
know.
go.
Anyway, Dougler, thank you.
We love you, Dougler.
I want to
Sorry,
yell
my
that name.
Dougler.
Oh, it's not even a party now. What's up,
Man,
Dougler?
I am so excited for this
Yes.
episode. I'm gonna get us started real quick here because I've been dying for this since when did we start our show? 2017?
Yes. I was
Yeah.
going
We
to say,
started
this
our show?
episode has been almost 8 years in the making. So,
Yeah.
It's getting more and more epic.
yeah.
So Tom, this is all you, baby. Why did you suggest this episode?
I don't think I did. That's the funny thing. I think
He
it
didn't,
was
actually.
demand of because it's like I think we've done everybody's like favorite movies, and
Yeah.
like now that Amy and Esteves are in, now we'll have to rotate theirs in at some point. But like for a long time, we had gone through all the other hosts and like done their favorite movies. And
I think
then
we even
for a
did
long
like
time,
two of mine. I think we did Fight
Yeah,
Club,
well-
and Seven Psychopaths, and Lord of the Rings. Like we covered a lot.
Ah, that's
I'm
right.
pretty
Corey's like-
sure
Check.
I'm pretty sure we, in our struggle to make our show for the X amount of years we've been doing this, like as balanced and trying to like go what's popular as well as something that we like, and then be something topical for the holidays and stuff like that. This just kind of always ended up on the back burner, and I didn't really mind it. Like just because your favorite thing isn't talked about or isn't praised, it doesn't mean it can't be your favorite thing. And that was something that I had like no qualms about. I was more like, what's the best for the show, what's best for the fellow hosts? And then I think it was like a lot of Corey being like, I've been wanting to do your favorite movie for such a long time that we're gonna do it. And I was like, all right, when we made the list, it was like, let's just do it then. Jesus criminy.
Fine,
like I
Mom,
was not
fine.
buying for it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
But I mean, I'm glad we are. It got me a chance to watch it. I watched it actually twice today, just being like just to watch it and rewatch it and be like,
Rookie. I'm just
oh,
Those are
I
numbers
mean,
up.
Get those numbers.
look, I don't. Once we keep talking more about it, I don't need to share my numbers, how many times I've watched it. But, let's go to the next part. What was everybody's like reception of the film before it started? There was a joke earlier made by Josh. This came out the same time as The Illusionist. So,
They
Josh,
were
how
like
about you
3
start
months
us off?
apart.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I always remember the release of this in The Illusionist very very clearly because I was working at a video store. I was working at Hollywood Video at the time, and they were both on the new
Shout out.
release wall. And people would grab The Illusionist thinking it was The Prestige, or they'd grab the Prestige thinking it was The Illusionist. And it was just like,
Fools.
Like
people
two
just-
dudes, one babe, same movie.
yeah. Actually, yeah. And I remember it just kind of being a joke, and I don't remember when I first saw The Prestige, like actually saw it. It was just kind of like that new release joke of just like, oh, The Illusionist, The Prestige, and then maybe years later, I think I probably saw it, and I'll be perfectly honest, it's I think even at the time, Christopher Nolan wasn't even on my radar. I mean, except for no, I mean, I can say that I really like Memento is one of my favorite movies. But it didn't really like occur to me like
Memento was really under the radar.
Yeah, but it didn't really occur to me like, oh, this is a Christopher Nolan movie. He wasn't as like Christopher Nolan as he is now. So it didn't really even, it just kind of went under my radar, to be perfectly honest. And then years later, when
everyone was just waiting for Dark Knight Rises. That's why.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first watch, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't remember the first watch, but I know that every time I watch it, I get a boner. I'm just kidding.
Yep. It's accurate.
It's just such a good
Your
movie.
nerd on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get my nerd on. And
You about
Massive nerd on.
yeah, I wear the white pants every single time just in case.
Yes. Good call.
So it's just it's always
The greatest
I think
trick of them all.
That's The Prestige. We call that The Prestige. Yeah.
So I'm totally
come
okay that this is the second episode that we've done on this movie. The first time was just like a suggestion of it. Now it's like, let's
Full
go
blown.
deep. Let's
Fuck
go
yeah.
full
All the way.
full on. Yeah.
Yes.
Prestige.
Amy,
deep.
how about you?
Hi, Amy.
Hi guys. Great to see you today.
Great to see you
Bring
all.
us back in.
I'll reel it back in a little bit. So I
It's just
do
like, I get boners every time I watch.
all
Yes.
day.
Let me bring it back in real quick.
That's right.
No.
Go ahead.
Helicopters everywhere. So with this, I do remember them coming out at the same time, The Illusionist and The Prestige. Same thing. I was not working at a movie rental house or theater or anything pertaining
Don't
to
knock
that.
it till you try it.
Do you know what? I would have loved to. It would be great. But I would always get them confused. And so I can honestly say, though, I had seen The Prestige probably 2008 or so. So a little bit after it came out, simply because of like life was happening, things were going on. And I remember really kind of being captivated by it. This is the first time that I can say that I saw Christopher Nolan without knowing it was Christopher Nolan. So again, much like Josh is like, he was not on my radar. 100%. I didn't realize until we put this on the list that it was a Christopher Nolan movie. Oopsie. But I think the thing that really kind of stuck with me was that even though this could be like a watch one and done type of thing, because you're like, oh, I know where it's going, yada yada. Rewatching it, I was like, oh, I forgot how nice this movie is. Like, it's fun. And that's not saying it's a bad thing against The Illusionist, but
This whole episode, we're just going to be like, but you know, compared to The Illusionist, it's just
Side note, Illusionist.
Paul Giamatti. No, I really appreciated a lot of different aspects of this film, and then looking at it now from an entirely different space of not only my understanding of whatever else Nolan has made, but also finding parallels and looking for different meaning and not just taking what's at face value as this is the message of the movie, has been kind of a really nice way to dive in unintentionally to this world, these characters, and then appreciate all the aspects they're in.
Well said.
Nice. Thank you. Steve's?
I was such a fanboy of Batman Begins. Like the second I saw this movie was coming out, I was waiting for the theater release because it had everything I was happy about. The guy who made Batman Begins, got it. Christian Bale, the guy who played Batman in American Psycho, got it. Wolverine's in this, sold. Scarlet, okay, come on. Piper, hey, she's a little Portuguese. Yeah.
Howdy ugly.
Yeah, exactly. So everything was being ticked
Michael
off.
Caine.
Michael
Michael
Caine. I mean,
Caine.
that's a given. Yeah, absolutely. Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
So, and at the time,
Bowie.
yes. Besides my Batman Begins love, my brother-in-law Joe, he was just my girlfriend's brother at the time, he was massively into X-Men because he kind of looks like Hugh Jackman when he is Wolverine. When he
had good taste, right?
The beard, he has everything else. So we're like, hey, this could be the Wolverine versus Batman movie. Let's go watch this. So my girlfriend at the time, now wife, and him, we went opening night. We went opening night to it. It was packed house.
Your wife.
Yep. She knew the Nolan Bale fanboy love of mine was there. So we went there opening night. It was a packed house, and no, we were we'll get further into it, but in the movie, it was basically Joe and I going, Wolverine, yeah, Batman, whenever something was going back and forth. But yeah,
that must have been annoying as shit.
We were quiet. We weren't loud. We were quiet. I was in the middle.
You were loud enough.
I was in the middle, so Melissa didn't hear it. It was just Joe and I, But yeah. Right? But I was counting down the days to this movie. I didn't even think of Illusionist, honestly, and I knew that one was the more promoted one, but I was so Bale Nolan Prestige that I didn't care, and I wanted to see Prestige in theaters.
Good for
Respect.
Mm-hmm.
Corey?
For me, I was excited about this movie when it was coming out. Look, I like both magician movies that came out that year. Both fun. Both described as fun, but only one
was truly magical.
Well, only one is still really studied and talked about now. And I think that says something.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. My mom and I bonded over Memento.
Nice.
We went and saw that together, and it was one of those movies where we would be like, have you seen Memento? We're going to watch Memento tonight. I don't know how old I would have been then. But anyway,
Seniors or Memento? I don't know. I was like,
what is that? 2000 and
that was
2005? Three?
That would that was
Memento's
2000.
98.
98, because Insomnia was
Oh, sorry,
2002.
Memento's 2000, right?
Yeah, because he did Insomnia,
okay.
And that was 2002.
I saw it with my mom. We loved it, and we watched a bunch of people. So that got me on the Nolan train. Batman Begins, obviously. So when this came out, I was pretty stoked for a lot of the same reasons Esteves was, but also loved Nolan. It is one of those movies that, much like Memento, gets to be a different movie watching it a second time, and I adore that. Here's the thing. I have not watched it as many times as Tom. Guaranteed. So I don't know if he still feels this way about it, because he probably maybe feels this way the way I feel about Fight Club, where I've just seen it so many times that it's like all the same. But every time I watch this movie, and we'll get into this later, I find more things where I'm just like, fuck. Oh, wow. Wait. Little things, small things, nuances, everything. I don't know. I remember walking out of that theater. It's one of those movies where you're like, I wish I could turn around and go back in right now and watch this again, because I have, not only do I have questions, but now I have answers that I need to check, like the questions too. I need to Jeopardy this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gave me the answer. I got to go find the questions. And so,
what is an ingenue?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's one of those ones that's, if you know, you know. It's honestly, Nolan is known for a lot of things. Oppenheimer for me was a huge movie on my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think Prestige has to be talked about as maybe one of the best films made, at least in the last 30 years. So yeah. That's just to spoil how I feel about it.
God, it's 19 years old.
Yeah.
That's why I extended it to 30, Tom.
That means Batman Begins is 20 this year.
It can make bad decisions in the polling booths. Okay. So it doesn't. It won't. It's too
Just
smart
put the bubble in. Just put the bubble.
Anyways, yeah, I didn't watch this in theaters. I remember they coming out, and I was like, "Oh, magicians! Who gives? Who cares?
Come on."
And then, but I will say this: I was a huge Christian Bale fan.
Yeah,
not a Nolan fan, Christian Bale fan.
Yeah,
because it was like Batman Begins. I was like, who is this? He's not even a megastar Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, one of my friends, shout out to Curtis Phelps, the smartest man I know. He was just like, "Homie, have you seen Equilibrium?" And then I was like, "No." And then I watched that shit.
Oh my gosh!
No. And then he's like, "Have you seen The Machinist?" I was like, "No." I watched it. I'm like, I think I like this man. I think I like
Reign of Fire. We must work together.
Reign of Fire.
We must work together.
It's so good.
blood and flesh. Anyway, but yeah, Christian Bale was like just. I was like, oh my god, where has he been all my life? And all of a sudden he's Batman. I'm like, okay, let me watch some more movies. And funny enough, my sister was dating.
Empire of the Sun. Empire of the Sun. Spielberg.
Newsies. Sorry, go ahead.
My sister was dating a dude, and he was dating a dude, and he had like left the DVD of The Prestige, and I was like, "What's this?" And she was like, "Oh, we were watching that last night." I was like, "Okay." At this point, I wasn't living with my parents anymore, so I was like living with my sister, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll just put this in." I put it in my PS2.
It's like the movie. Cue the score as Tom sees the DVD case, and it slowly pans in.
Well, it just pans in, and then a black cat and some hats, and it's like, "Oh, you want this?" I was like, okay. And so I put it in, and this is junior year. This is 2008, and I watched that movie every single day for that year,
dude. Yep.
And it was just like I remember like. My sister's ex-boyfriend. He was like, "Hey, have you seen that?" He was like, "Nope, haven't seen it.
Don't know where it went." Shout out. Tom took the DVD and then whoop, gone. Who knows where it went?
It was a transported DVD. It was the real transported DVD.
Give him the keyword. Give him the keyword.
So I watched that movie every single day for that. That year, just every single day, just put it. I would come home 4 p.m., watch that. 7 p.m. would come by, I'd eat dinner, and then I'd do my homework. But then I just had to watch it. I just sat down, just watched it, and it was just more like because there's times where I was just like watching. I was like, "What was that about? Like, what's going on? Like, what is this?
Nolan
like, who is this like score with music at the end? Like, what is this? It's not a score." And I'm like, and I was like, was he the guy or was that? Like every day I would rewatch that movie, and then got to the point where I was like, I memorized the movie more than the messages actually came across, and so they were just like to quote that movie. But we'll talk more about the film.
I've always wanted to ask you, like this doesn't. This is when I say this, it is not judgment. It's like I'm wanting to know, like when I say why, like
why did I watch it every single day?
Did it like it spoke to something inside it? Like what was it? I mean, like. What was it?
I did the same thing with Fight Club in like 2000, and I had seen it when I was younger, but then something about it in 2007, sorry, when I was just in living in New York on my own. I watched Fight Club every day for like 6 months. It was just in my background movie.
I watched Harold and Kumar every day for several months when I was really depressed. But
something I think it's just like, I'll let Tom answer, but like I think there's sometimes a movie just like unlocks a part of your brain, and you're like, I need to know everything I need to know about this.
I think I did that with too many movies because there was so many movies that when I get home from school and HBO would play, I'm like, oh, Crimson Tide's on. I'm watching Crimson Tide again. I would just watch these movies repeatedly. And Prestige easily
is that Kohai? Is that what that one? Is that one? Is that the one
from Crimson Tide?
Yeah,
I think so. Yes.
Is that Sean Connery with Snipes?
No,
right?
no, that's Rising Sun.
So they sound the same.
Kohai, Senpai and Kohai.
Rising Sun, Empire of the Sun.
Crimson Tide is Denzel and Gene Hackman.
Oh, my son.
In the sun.
To answer Josh's question, I think honestly, there isn't like an eloquent answer. I think it's like I was just addicted to that movie. It was like I couldn't start my like after school day. Like I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't eat dinner. Like I was thinking about the movie. Like going home was like I get to watch this movie and I get to like just be in it and see what it's like. At that point, I had already.
Did you make the decision to do it, or did it just naturally happen?
It was. I don't know. I think like in a weird David Fincher kind of way, it was a little perverse. It was more like I needed it. It was more like I really like I could not move on past it. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to watch this every day. It was more like I need to see this again. I need to like know everything I can.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I need to know everything I can know about this, and I don't know why, and I couldn't explain it to you, but I need to watch Fight Club. I watched Fight Club on repeat for a whole month with the commentary on. Because I needed to know how as much as I could to know about that movie as I could.
Like if there was enough,
I'd go fuck yourself. That's why.
there was enough. There was enough language in there where I was like, I was like, what's an ingenue? What does actually the Prestige actually mean? Like, what does like I wanted to like learn every single bit and piece about it. Or it's like, where does this take place? Like, what, like, is this what Colorado Springs was like? Who's Nicholas Tesla? Like, it made me like just so much more excited about the world. And then also like, you know, I think a real unsung hero of this film. We'll talk about the info about it, but it's like Wally Pfister's cinematography.
Oh my
is
God.
like, you know, I know they don't work together as much anymore, but it's like Wally Pfister and Christopher Nolan is kind of like, that is my favorite visual couple together, because they take the best part of Nolan. And I know Hoyten van Hoyten is like his new DP, but like Wally Pfister just had a way, and like, anyways, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, I think to answer your question, I just could not go through the day without watching it. I just felt like there was something missing. So like, yeah. But with that, we'll move on to the next part. We'll do a quick bit of small info for the film. I know Esteves probably has something in there, but we'll just go off for anyone who hasn't watched the film, doesn't know about it, or should get a quick reminder of it. You know, it's directed by Christopher Nolan. It stars Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine,
Andy
who else?
Serkis.
Piper Perabo. We got Rebecca Hall.
Yeah,
Andy
Andy
Serkis.
Serkis, David Bowie.
Michael Caine.
Eddie Serkis,
Michael
David
Caine.
Bowie.
Eddie.
Who? What?
I thought you said Eddie Serkis.
No, Andy Serkis is
Andy.
Allie.
Andy
Edward Serkis.
Edward Serkis.
Yep.
Edward Serkis.
Edward Andy
Um,
Serkis.
And something really important that I really like for all those shout out who play Civilization, we have William Morgan Shepherd, who is the narrator of Civilization, who plays Mr. Merritt, who owns
Oh, the owner of the theater. Nice.
so I love that.
What show?
It released in 2006. Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan wrote the screenplay, again adapted from the Christopher Priest book, The Prestige, which is very different than the book, over in the movie. Had 109.7 box office release on a $40 million budget, released by Warner Brothers Pictures. The music, notably, is from David Julian, who's not Hans Zimmer, most well known for collaborating with Christopher Nolan. Not most well known, but you know that Nolan and Zimmer work together a lot. And yes, cinematography by Wally Pfister. Steve, is there anything I missed?
No, you nailed it. I mean, you got the Portuguese Piper Perabo, yeah? She's in there? Good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Perabo?
Yeah, thank you.
Piper Perabo?
Yeah. Yep. Jersey, as we know her well. Jersey.
Oh, yeah. She's boo-boo. All right. Well, moving on, we can talk about our favorite parts, favorite characters, any wishes of best parts we wanted or something we wanted more of. Josh, how about you give me what you got?
Favorite
What was
parts.
your favorite things?
Jeez.
Favorite aspects?
Whole movie.
What do you love? Steve's, you're not a Josh.
Sorry, my bad.
Steve's wishes he was Josh.
I do every day.
It's not just a rubber bowl. Oh, Josh.
We can't hear you, Josh.
Oh, is this the trick? This is the trick.
And now the Prestige.
There it is.
Yeah.
You have to bring him back.
Yes.
Yep, that's a point.
It's
You gotta go back.
it's the feud, just like the whole feud, just
Mm.
everything that they do in this feud and the obsession, and it's so fascinating to me because I'm not a that kind of person. I'm not competitive, but it's fascinating to me of just like when they're like competitive with a certain person, where it's just like, you are my rival and I have to do, like, it's just like, and then it becomes like even deeper than that. It's just like the witch knot thing. And I mean, and then just the obsession.
You out there, my stomach!
The double hold.
Yeah, their obsession is just it's
Palpable.
It's palpable. Yeah, it's just such an interesting thing to, and you experience the entire movie, and it's a very interesting. I don't know. It's
Malicious, delicious.
yeah. It's like a train wreck. I just can't look away. I'm just like, yeah. What are they gonna do now? Oh, that's sick.
It's
Do
good
it.
because like it's better than trash TV where like they pit people against each other and they're just
Yeah.
like being trashy.
Yeah.
Here's like, oh, they're like sophisticated.
They're putting themselves in these
It's a
positions.
sophisticated trashy.
They're good, Dan Pone.
Classy trashy.
Classy trashy.
I mean, I'll start there, and because there's more people here. So
Amy.
So like it's going to sound dumb, but I love not only the setting, but the set designs
Oh,
too.
God, yeah.
I love seeing the literal
Turn of the century.
deterioration of, well, and also the deterioration of everything. Actually, if you look at the progression of how it builds in an arc, just in of itself, where the sets are, where the theaters are, how they move from theater to theater, and you see it like with each of their perspective arcs. But when we get to the end and it is literally a ruined theater that is containing, like, it's, I didn't think, especially on this watch, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that even the sets and everything, the locations are actually following arcs as well with everybody. I'm like, okay, you're smart. I like that.
You're smart.
You're so smart.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful and breathtaking.
Mhm.
And I know Josh talked about the obsession. I think one of my favorite parts was not just the length of the obsession, but when we get to Colorado Springs and we meet one Mr. David Bowie. I love David Bowie. I forgot he was in here entirely, which kind of made me cry a little bit, and then just like, oh yeah. And
Andrew, you remind me of the Babe.
Yeah. He
What
was so
Babe?
good.
He's so
He
good.
was so
Sorry.
good as Tesla.
They asked me kindly to retire.
But there was such, again, another part we talked about elegance. Like, this is classy, trashy.
Mhm.
There's this elegance and just overall genteel nature that is David Bowie, and it fit so seamlessly in here that it wasn't like, oh my God, it's David Bowie. It's like, oh my God, it's David Bowie.
Mhm.
And
Like off the bat, he's just like, forget this thing. Obsession's a young man's thing.
Yeah,
It will
right away.
control you. It's
Right
like,
away.
It's literally the foreshadowing of like, bro.
He's warning you,
Like,
bro.
don't
He's
do
warning
this. Don't
you.
go down the path.
And they're
And
both
same
like,
thing with Cutter, but
fuck
go on.
you, I'm doing my thing.
Doing the thing.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, obsession that you know this is unheated, blah blah. So
yeah,
anyway.
it
Destroy
was
it.
just, it was such a nice spot in there. And then, Andy Serkis as well. When we see him, even
Great
in
accent. His
it-
accent. Oh, so good.
I mean, hey, if I almost spiraled into, you should listen to him reading The Hobbit on Audible. It's so good.
Mr. Angia. Oh,
But so it's really there's, again, much like Josh, I'm going to try to refrain because I could just be like, oh, I want to gush about everything. And I don't think there is a lack of things to gush about in this film. So I'm going to remove myself a little bit and give
Real
some
quick,
space.
on top of you with Andy Serkis, one of my favorite parts, and I
Sounds like a dream
think
come
about it
true.
all the time. One of my favorite parts with him is just like when he meets Angier in the lobby and he's like looking at the cipher. He sits down. When he sits down, and this is the thing. It's like it's so good implied dialogue writing where he just says, "Oh, blah blah," two of them, and he's just like you see someone move and you're like, "Oh, he's been here before. He's
Mhm.
ordered a drink. He knows
Mhm.
exactly what the fuck is happening." I was like,
Two of
"This
them.
is so good." It's like two of them, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and that's the thing. I'm like, it's very simple writing, but when you can do it and you have the performers to do it with you, and you're like,
Mhm.
you can write whatever the heck you want and just get away with it. Corey?
A lot. I have a lot to say about this movie. I watched it twice this week, and we'll start here. I'll start here. To me, this time around, one of the most heartbreaking things is the movie almost convinces you that in another timeline, the three of them could have been best friends.
Mhm.
But once you take a step out of that moment, they're watching this show together. They're like killing it. They're buddies. They're talking about magic backstage really excitedly, really passionately. You take a second to realize that the brothers would never. The brothers would never. Relationships to them are almost secondary to everything that is there.
Secrets are my life.
Yeah.
Lived happy life.
And it's heartbreaking because you know that it's not true. You have that feeling that there's another timeline where the three of them are best friends, but there's never a timeline where that's true. And to me, that is, they're so parallel, the two of them. They're the opposite of whatever foils are, right? Like it's almost triplets, and they're so close and yet so diversely far away from each other at the same time. And it's heartbreaking. And the thing that crushed me this time was like my first few watch throughs, it's obvious that Angier is almost a villain, right? He's almost this I mean, he is by the end of it, but through you're almost rooting from the whole thing, and that one's a little more obvious. And for me, this time through, and I do think part of this has to do with becoming a parent also, and having a child, having 2 children now, is I realized that during Angier's speech at the end, where he's like, forgot why we do this in the first place. Like, you've been the twins are so obsessed with craft and perfection that they even need Scarlett to come in and be like, you're putting on a fucking show, like put on a show. Get people excited for something you do really well. They have made better, they were the technical better magicians, but Angier was the better magician.
Showman.
Yeah.
Showman.
So that one kind of crushed me because, Borden even misses it. Like, he misses the forest for the trees of like, you did all this, you sacrificed all of this, you sacrificed a relationship with your daughter, you sacrificed a relationship with your wife because you decided that this trick was more important. You put other people through your obsession and hurt so many other people because of what you're masquerading as a noble dedication. And you're no more noble than Angier in what you've done. And that was tragic for me as well. I was like, they both are terrible.
They're the same. They're the same person.
Yeah.
Coin, yeah.
And I didn't notice it to that extent so much. Like, for me, I think being younger too, being like, well, Fallon's the real one who's like the asshole. Like, Borden really cares. And you're like, no, he agreed to this. He's doing the same thing.
This is the thing.
Like,
where
he doesn't.
like,
he does love them, but like, he's like, I'm going to put you through this. It's not my,
But it's
like,
the tomorrow. Do you love me today?
Yeah.
But it's we're experiencing all of it through Angier, right? So we get to see him tear apart all his relationships because we keep the Fallon Borden mystery in the background until the final reveal. But it's simple, yes, but there's nothing easy about sharing a life. And it's like, we each loved one of them, but it was never enough for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that tough thing. It's like all it takes for the trick. And it's like, the secret impresses nobody. The trick you use it for is what really matters. That's that ambition, right? That they both share. They both are like, we are co-signing our entire lives away to do this thing, where like they kind of know what they're doing, where Angier unabashedly, unknowingly is doing exactly what they did. And that's why Angier gets
I don't know which is worse.
But that's why Borden, I don't think there's a worse or better.
Yeah.
It's like they're both gray and they both just live the same life. And Borden gets to say that there's nothing you've done. It's like, it costs you nothing to do what you've done, because he knows exactly what he's done. And that's why they both say they're fools to each other. It's like, what does he know about sacrifice? And they both have sacrificed everything for the love of the game. It's just like, oh, it's
not even the
thing.
love of the game at that point too. Like, we could get farther into the pain on that. Don't you?
I think it's the love of the game because
initially I could have said it was the love of the game, but we get deeper in them weeds and it no longer becomes about the love of the game.
I mean, at the beginning, and so for everyone listening who hasn't watched The Prestige yet and all the spoilers and all that stuff, there is a lot of
20-year-old
one-to-oneness. There's a lot of analogy to the filmmaking, to like there are 3 acts, right?
Oh, they give you everything in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but it's like there's 3 acts to every magic trick: the pledge, the turn, and the prestige. But then you start thinking of like the 3-act structure in movies and stuff like that. And Esteves has brought it into like, oh, this like the self-sacrifice of what entertainers and wrestlers do. And it's like, it's all about the entertainment at the end of the day, like how much sacrifice people put into it. There's actually, and I'm not pulling this from the book, a lot of it is actually in the copy of the movie. And it kind of like, you get it a little bit, and maybe it might warrant another rewatch. But Angier is French. And the reason why he wants to stay away from French is because he actually comes from wealth. And he said that in dialogue where he's like, I told my parents I would not embarrass them with my endeavors. And so when he gets the name Great Danton, he's like, it's French. I don't want to be connected to that. Mm-hmm. It shows also that like Borden and Fallon. So it's like Alfred Borden and Bernard Fallon, I think, which are also probably like anagrams of each other. They came from nothing. They came from poverty. And that's why Cutter needs to like pay for his Chung Ling Soon ticket, where Angier never bats an eye. And that's it, to Corey's point, like, is there a timeline where they could have been friends? Like, not in that time era, but maybe in an era where it would not have been full depression, like poverty levels, where like they weren't striving to get rich and famous. They were just like living middle class lives. They could have been possibly, but it's like just not in that time frame, which shows the disparity that like Amy was talking about. Like as rich and everyone got, there was just like the lowest of lows, where like Tesla, the height of his like, you know, notoriety, burns his entire mansion gets burned down right afterwards. So it's like the disparity between highs and lows is like insane.
But that's even like historically too, when you're talking about the Edison Tesla, like the actual
the rivalry, it's
and that is and it's paralleled, which we're like Shh, don't besmirch Edison. We're like, listen, bro, he like straight up came in for everything that Tesla had. It didn't matter what Tesla was doing. It was a bigger pocket, bigger donors, besmirch your name, take your stuff. Like we're seeing the exact same thing paralleled in this movie with Angiers and with Borden. And if you know that history, you're like, oh, okay. Versus here, you're just like, oh, it's Nikola Tesla. Like, okay, cool guy. Like super mysterious. Yay. I don't know what's with his voice today.
Alert.
Oh, sorry.
Go, Josh.
No, go ahead, Josh.
Well, it was just because the beating around the bush and just the final scene is probably my favorite scene. Just like to nail it down, because it's like both are learning the atrocities of the other, and it's like, and it's almost like they're just so surprised, and like every time
it's a come to Jesus.
Yeah, but also like it is so terrifying to think about, like drowning, and just like to be in that experience, like thinking about the experience of like the question of like, do you know, are you the one in the box or not? Just like that is probably that is a movie situation that I cannot think too much about, or else I will be fetal in the corner of like, I don't need to know. I don't need that in my life.
Yeah. Sad part is it's Schrodinger's water box. He's always the man in the box.
Yeah.
We didn't hear from Esteves yet. Lay it on me.
You well, you should probably, Josh will bring up one of my favorite scenes later, but it is on top of what you guys have said is the rivalry. The way Jackman and Bale portray these characters and the rivalry they have with each other, how it destroys their lives because they can't let go of it. And the moment when Scarlett Joe says, "It won't bring your wife back. I don't care about my wife.
I care about the secrets."
And then you see it in his face after
he loses that scene.
And it's this revenge that destroys everything around them because of the one-uppedness. A one-uppedness that, as we talked about earlier, was agreed to. Because it's something I missed before. As they're about to tie that blank for double, he looks at her and she nods. She wants to go with it. She's dedicated just as much as they are.
Also everyone's trying to get to reach.
It wasn't Borden level. Being like, I want to be a show off. He looks at her first and she gives the nod.
It partially is. It's them both though.
They both are. Yes, they both are on the same page of wanting to show they could do this. So and that never again does settle.
And then the two different I don't knows.
Yes,
of the two different brothers. The one at the funeral where he clearly knows, where he's driven, thought about it a lot, but he's like,
you don't know.
But then the I don't know.
Apologetic. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't.
How would I not know?
Well done. You mustn't read from the book.
Maybe I bought it.
I'm gonna make a reference that Amy will get right now, and it's when a certain medium is on fire and writing beautifully with two characters. Right now, you see this in my other favorite medium of wrestling with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. It is a rivalry that is two men pissed off about the past, can't let it go, and are literally screwing each other over with every opportunity they have at a championship. CM Punk screws over Seth. Seth just screwed over CM Punk. Watching The Prestige, I'm like, Borden and Angier are Punk and Seth right now, and it's just so well done. And when you got two people who can present this hate so believably on screen. It just makes it even the story just it's the cherry on top to this amazingly written story, and Bale and Jackman just fucking kill it. Literally.
I mean, I have to say, I like, and so I got texts today. So
From who? From who, Tom?
I will say this. I'll like some of my favorite parts are just like, and Steve says like I want to make a. He's like I always wanted this like this GIF of this, and I was just like one of my favorite parts is just like when they see Chung Ling Soo and they're like this is the act, this is
it.
the trick, this is the method to his act.
MJF.
And he hits that brick wall. This part like is seared into my mind. It's like been part of my modus operandi in life, which is like a lot of self-sacrifice. That's what it takes to get out of a place. And he hits the brick like this, and it's just like you can. I don't know. For someone like me, like growing up kind of in the way I did, I was just like, oh, you could like taste the almost like desperateness of wanting to get the life that you wish you were afforded. And that's why Angier never understood it. That's why Angier is never a better magician than him, because he never needed to want. He always just had everything for him. Like he had everyone come for him. Like he had a wife to begin with. He had Cutter like find him in the gutter. He had Julia, like a new love of his life. He like, oh, I want to copy that guy's trick. We found it for you. Like Borden kind of had to build this all up. You know, it was like happenstance that he met Sarah, and
the power of performance. Yeah, it's the spin of it. It's really Sorry.
Yeah, and I think I mean I love the motif. Like you see it happen all the time where we talk about you have to bring it back, and then we get back to that. We get back from the beginning of the film to the end of the film where we're seeing Cutter perform the magic trick and bringing the bird back, and it's symbolic because that's the same bird trick that got him introduced to his wife. And that even bird trick in itself, like smashing it into a bird into the table, dead. It foreshadows him and his brother, right? Yeah. Like it's such a like pièce de résistance moment, but also like opening with like the hats. Like there's so much like motifs that happen. Where it's just like, are you watching closely? Self-sacrifice. And it's like getting your hands dirty. Like these things that like just repeat, and they and that was the thing that like I guess why I had such a fixation on this movie. It was like clockwork. They perfectly timed, and it was just like such a poignant message each time they brought. It's like it looks like you're not afraid to get your hands dirty when he buries Fallon, and he's like, yeah, he's literally kidnapped a guy, probably almost killed him for a secret, for just a trick, a trick. He staged all this crap. He sent like an agent in there, Manchurian candidated up, and like
also Fallon and Borden like removing the landing pad and breaking Angier's leg, and good lord, like the breaking the woman's fingers by sabotaging the trick.
Not breaking, blasting her fingers. Just
well, the guy says breaking my
taking his daughter at the end.
Yeah.
She needs to be cared for. She needs her file.
That was the final.
I won't beg.
God, Michael Caine in this is obsession's a young man's game.
I love when Root is in the wardrobe. It's like, yeah, the blind wardrobe. Yeah, you can see it right now. Congratulations, all.
Yes, that's Michael. Congratulations, yes. Jackman was having fun playing Root.
Oh yeah.
Okay, for the longest time, I was like, who the hell is playing Root? Like that guy looks like a good
because the teeth sticks out a little more and everything.
And his nose bridge, and I was like, what? That's not.
They did good makeup on that, man.
Yeah.
Just like they did Fallon makeup. Like this movie got some good makeup.
And then also when you find out that, like, as an audience member, when you find out that Fallon is Borden and Borden is Fallon. It's the same thing what happened with Sarah with the bullet catch. She's like, oh, it's pretty simple. It doesn't really, it's not really impressive anymore.
Yeah.
Like, well,
again,
sacrifice.
When the secret, like the trick, it's
but that I also think is kind of like the point of this. It's simple. It's literally we get Michael Caine. Michael Caine.
It's a double.
He's like, get it through your head. It's simple. It's simple.
But
it's simple.
Not a double though.
But
it's not though.
But that's the thing that in the desperation to beat somebody at their your creative your devotion, your creative your creation, everything that you're hoping for. Sorry, my brain went bleh.
That's okay.
you end up going, it can't be that simple.
Mhm.
It could never be that simple. And when you are striving
Don't
for
you see?
but that's the thing. We're so caught up in it can't be simple. It has to be fantastic. Like that's the thing that and if we're looking at filmmaking, because I get to talk to you guys about filmmaking, that intersection of like let's look at practical effects. When it's simple and you're like, it couldn't have been that simple.
Mhm.
Or
It's like,
someone
stop
took the time.
overthinking. Just
Exactly.
do the thing.
But
But you want
that's
something more.
but you always want something more. And that's that when we talked about the two sides of the same coin in relation to Tangiers and Borden/Fallon, where they're the two sides of the same coin, but one is so technically based and the other is so just like, I can make everything look great. These are my creative endeavors. I have access to everything. It can never be the chocolate syrup in a black and white film going down the drain. Like it wouldn't.
Can't be.
Yeah.
It can't.
And then part of that mentality is also the fact that Angier, the greater showman, greatest showman, look at that. Whatever.
All right, everybody,
He-
you know the.
Good night.
You know the drill.
Right on.
They almost said it too. They almost said
It's
it.
right
Yes,
there.
Strowman. Yes, Strowman. So close.
But it's that knowing that Borden is the better magician that makes him believe it's got to be something grander because I know this guy is a better magician than me. So it has to be more than just a bloody double.
At the very beginning, where he's like, I don't trust him. Of course you can't trust him. He's a magician.
He's a magician.
Mhm. Ah,
That's so good.
It drives into this space of like the lies we tell ourselves to keep ourselves going,
Mhm.
and like we have to justify why it's not just revenge anymore, or it's not just obsession anymore. What lies are we telling ourselves to keep the engine moving
Mhm.
forward, to keep ourselves diving into whatever it is, and then ultimately when we look back and go, you have no idea what I've sacrificed. It's you lied to yourself all the way
What
through
I've
to
been
get here.
through.
We got right here, but you lied to yourself all that way to make it so that you could justify all of your atrocities. Like,
And that's in the film too, when he's talking to Olivia in the mirror when he's first about to go check out the transported man technique, and he says, even my wife for a couple of his fingers, and it's like this, like there's the books are never going to be solid, right? It's never enough, and yeah, they're always going to be going to try to like, well, you did this, and then you did this to me, and then you did that to me. It's like, well, you stole my trick, so now I'm going to maim you, and it's like it's yeah. Bad
They
time.
both did the same to each other, which is just in different ways of what they lost
Mhm.
and what they like. It's wild to see.
he's gonna keep going with wrestling. I'm
Sorry,
so sorry.
man. It's all writing. It's all writing.
I just
I mean,
yeah. I think it's so interesting to see, even just like when you're looking at the movie and you're quote analyzing it and just seeing the simple, just like this is like, we seeing the theme of him just thinking so hard that it's got to be something and it's not a twin. It can't be a twin. It can't.
It's too easy.
It can't. And he goes to fucking science fiction and cloning, and you're like, bro,
Dude,
you don't even know what
he
you've
spent
just done.
a fortune.
It was just left of a double. Just left. Just left of a double. That's all it was. It's not double. It is a double. It's not though. It's
a bloody
little
double.
more.
You trained
right that it was
somebody
more.
that was like
It wasn't that much more.
a street urchin to be like you. Like, you.
No,
my
Hey,
friend
he's an
was
out of
like
work actor. Give him some
Gordon's not
respect.
like that. Out of work actor.
He was drunk. He was a drunk.
I gotta shout out real quick
Dougler?
I think this takes Nolan's pacing and storytelling of Memento to another level. Like they have a lot of similarities, these two stories, Memento and The Prestige, in the sense that we get a lot of reveals at the end of like, actually it was right there the whole time. And all the different finishing of scenes that we got to see at the end, that we got to see the rest of Scarlet's scene where she's like, that's what Andrew told me to tell you.
Mhm.
But here's what I'm willing to do. And then we get to see the fucking the clone Hugo. Wait, no, I'm not. And then boom. Like, oh, what was he gonna say? I'm not the clone, because they both are gonna believe that,
You
right?
get to see why Sarah says like it's just as bad as the day it happened, and you see him like
yeah. Like the knocking of the finger, like it was.
it's the cross-cutting editing. Yep.
That whole section and those little moments, the catharsis you feel of like, Oh, it literally
It's
is.
ethereal.
It's catharsis and little deaths, right? Like you get these little deaths of like, oh, well, it's the same thing. Borden was talking about. Once you know the secret, you're like, oh, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that's why his
Look
fingers
great
still look
places.
bloody, is because he cut him off. Great
Yeah.
to match. Oh, that's why he's saying he shot himself. Okay, cool. So it's that whole bit there was another one of my favorite moments. Obviously, the first time I watched it, because it was the thing that happened, and then I leave the theater and I'm like, but now I got to go rewatch the other 2 hours
Another ticket, please.
to see all
Another
those
ticket,
little moments.
please. Another ticket.
Makes sense. It's like watching Fight Club again. Like it really is. It's like
Mhm.
watching Fight Club after seeing the ending and being like, okay, now I got to look for all the little moments where can I tell when it's Borden? Can I tell when it's Fallon? Can I tell when it's besides
I
the
know,
obvious
that's-
ones? Is
that's
there
what
a
I was
way to
trying to
tell?
do.
So
Yeah.
Who's
this
the
is
uncle? Who's the dad? Basically.
and ultimately it's you know what it is. I'm going to say it this way. It's not even disappointing. It's like when Penn and Teller do a magic trick and they're telling you how they did it. Nolan is doing a Penn and Teller with this, where he's like, here's how we did it. And you're just like, fuck, that's cool though. That is still cool. It is still very cool
Now
how
I
you
want
did that.
Penn and Teller commentary of the Prestige right now.
It'd be one
No,
person
I want a
talking.
One person.
remake, a remake of this movie, but it's Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller going at each other.
And they keep the gag where one of them doesn't speak.
Yeah. just angry faces.
I do. I mean, I also do have Tom. You haven't said a whole lot about like favorite parts yourself.
That's a bit. But go ahead.
I found something I liked about. So every character, both characters
About
have
the
their
Prestige.
yeah about the Prestige about their
Finally.
their moment where they get their brief payback. And whereas Angier is the better showman, I feel Borden's payback had more like cinematic surprise to them.
Oh,
Like
great Dan.
so first the bird, he's got the one puts her hands, and then his turn, and you just see this come down, and
Yeah.
the camera pans, and he slowly looks up. When Angier falls, and there's nothing there to catch his fall, and he looks, and who's there? Borden just does the tap of the hat and goes up. His payback was always way more cinematic and showmanship than his actual magic tricks.
Mhm.
Getting back at Angier is where he became this great. Even the end when he,
I mean, if you look at it,
ball,
he
all the
fires
times
he fires the shot, and then the hat slowly comes off.
Well,
and
first
it's-
you have the bouncy
Yeah,
ball.
exactly.
Like, what?
his revenge was always the great showmanship of
And if
everything.
you think about it, all the times Angier ever tried to attack Borden, it was always like really like a knife in a cloak. It was always like
Yeah.
under the guise of really shitty things, and like and Borden most of the time did it like, I am the professor, I am Borden, I'm doing this, and it's like it's in front of everybody. So it's interesting connection you show that. Yeah, too much magic at the Pantages.
Across the
So-
street. Oh, such a great and flings the hat back at him. Oh.
I mean, I will say I do love like I mean it's funny because like it's a creepy meet cute, but like I just loved when Borden and Sarah go on that first date together, and he's like, I could use a cup of tea, and then she's like, oh, I can't do it. The tenant, the landlord won't. He's like, you think that will stop me? And then she
Yeah.
leaves, and also he's like, milk and sugar, and then he just starts laughing. It's like it's an interesting performance because like I've never seen Christian Bale have to perform jovial that way. So you're like,
Yeah.
huh, that's
Mhm.
like I don't know. It's those like little glimmers that I love about this
Mhm.
movie. Also just like, Hugh Jackman portraying this character, like he's kind of a grouch, right? Like when he meets Root, he's just like, all I have to do is be stinking drunk, and then no one can tell the difference. It's like, Jesus Christ, man! Like you
He
have
needs-
everyone bending over to do
He's
this trick.
right.
for you.
He needs to be on the stage getting the applause. He can't be the man downstairs. It annoyed him to not be in front of the crowd during the Prestige, and that dug at him as well. I want to be up there instead of being.
Mhm. I mean,
Like a true
I'm a
narcissist.
I'm a very team Borden
As am I.
over in this house. Only because
I'm
like
Team Ethan, man, like fuck.
I know
No,
that's
it doesn't
fine.
mean he's a
I'm
good
team
guy.
the daughter.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's a
Yeah.
good guy. But if I gotta
I mean,
choose one,
Technically, so yeah, you should be Team Cutter because he's the only one. He's like, Angier, stop this.
and
like,
who does
bro,
he
do
help?
this.
Who,
And then
and
he's
who
also like,
Cutter,
and he's like, Borden, fucking get your shit together. It's
who
like,
does
you messed up.
Cutter help at the end? Fucking
Yeah,
Team Borden.
Cutter
That's right.
keeps it straight the entire time. He's like, I want to keep
I've
working.
always
And
been
then,
Angier for some reason, even though it's just like the best of. For some
Because
the
the
reason,
character
beginning,
you follow.
you're
it's a
empathetic
tragedy.
to him in the beginning. You feel
It's very
for the guy.
Macbethian.
Yeah.
a way.
But then he destroys himself as he keeps going. But in the beginning, you should be empathetic to Angier.
But like through storytelling,
you're empathetic to
aspects,
Macbeth.
you're following
Mhm.
his journey. You're not really with Alfred a lot. So makes
Yeah.
sense.
Keep saying
Amy, you
Alfred, I
don't
go to
have-
Michael Caine. I'm sorry. Damn it.
Amy, you don't have to swear allegiance to. Oh, you swore allegiance to Cutter.
The daughter.
With the
I
daughter.
swore
yeah.
allegiance to the daughter because
Yeah,
at the end of it, the one that even with all the stuff that was going on, when Fallon, like there's the arguments and everything, and Fallon picks her up and takes her, you see those like those are the it's second watching the recognizable moments, and you're just like, yeah, because because you can see where all it is the goal is to keep her safe. And at the end of all of this, the one that has, even though she will have scars, she gets out the cleanest of them
Mhm.
will be that daughter. Like,
Oh yeah.
she,
I think Magic's done for Borden for sure.
No, he's gone. Yeah, he's
there-
done his
I
trick.
think
His
there's
trick's
gonna,
over.
I think there's gonna be small delights, but I don't think it'll ever. The prestige will be the coin, will be the ball, will be the small close-up sleight of hand versus
Yeah,
the
it's the key.
grandness of the state. Yeah,
Mm,
it's the things that will the everyday small delights that keep you mesmerized and looking for other whimsy or fantastic moments within the world. And she has that opportunity with a father that cares about her to that extent that he will keep that alive for her to live his whole life.
She
Mhm.
grows up
I mean,
to become
technic-
Jessica Biel in The Illusionist.
It doesn't die. Anyway,
They're connected.
it's funny because he actually does achieve what he wants at the beginning of the film. He creates a trick that everyone scratches their head for and will be fighting for.
Yep.
And to this day, probably at the end of this movie, no one knows how the transporter man is done.
Mm-mm.
So
Still a secret,
it's like
I
it's
mean,
still a secret.
Cutter
So it's like
knows.
he gets
Cutter
what he
knows, yeah.
wants.
Cutter was
Cutter-
Randall.
but Cutter
wizard.
always knew.
A wizard.
I remember Cutter's
real.
nod to Fallon too.
Yeah.
At the end,
Mhm.
Cutter walks out, gives
It's
a
not.
nod.
It's not. So, okay. Hold on. I'm going to canon this. That's not Fallon. That's Alfred. Fallon's the one that died.
Sorry, yes,
Because
you're right.
Fallon's
Yes.
the one that never loved Sarah.
You're right.
And
Yes.
so when
Well, the
John
loved
apologies,
Olivia.
apologies with the backup.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
but then because
Yeah.
like when she says like not today, and he's like we're gonna be feeding for two. He's like we should have told Fallon. That's when Borden plays Fallon, right?
Yep.
And then Fallon's the one that meets her. Meets Olivia in the workshop. That's the one that
Mhm.
loves Olivia.
Mhm.
He's the one that gets home because he says like, "I'm sorry, I never
Yep.
wanted to hurt Sarah."
Go live your
And
life.
it's like, oh, that's Fallon telling that to Alfred, and you're like,
When he tells him when he can't go to the zoo, Sarah's kind of
Mhm.
down today. If you could, do your best to not
To
be
Yeah.
so.
help me out.
and it's
Yeah.
like I'm having to give my brother who doesn't give a shit about my actual like my married family.
Mhm.
It's like it sucks, and it's like, oh,
I'm gonna
fucking Christ.
watch this again tonight. I'm gonna watch it
But
again.
like, and this is the thing I don't know who's yelling at who. Is it
Yeah.
Alfred or Fallon yelling at Alfred or Fallon when he's like, "Why can't you outthink
Oh.
him?" I was like,
Mhm.
is that
Mhm.
Fallon yelling at Alfred? I was like, I don't know, because it would seem to serve that Fallon is more about like, I don't give a shit about Sarah and his daughter. I
Yep.
care more about Magic and Olivia. Like
Mhm.
because Alfred, I think to
I
me,
thought that
Alfred,
was Fallon yelling, "Why can't you outthink him? It's a trick."
because Alfred's the ones he's like, we're done. Don't go there. Don't mess with them.
Mhm.
We're done. Let him have his trick. And I'm like, cool. And then that's when he's like, I shouldn't have gone there. It's like, cool. Fallon's the one that went there. Like Alfred was ready to like, cool. No more blood feud. My wife is gone. I got
Mhm.
my daughter, and that's it. He has his trick. He's only doing 100 shows. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And then Fallon was just like, nah, blood. I got it. Because Olivia left me
Nah,
because I
blood.
was like, I never loved my wife. And it's like, bitch, you fucking soulless. Fallon, you can't say that shit. You can't make you hotter. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, boy.
Come on, man.
I think
Yeah, I think favorite character for me, just
Cutter.
to get it, just to yeah,
It's Cutter.
100% it's Cutter.
I never thought I'd be finding answers at the bottom of a pint glass. Hasn't stopped you looking.
Yeah,
Mm.
he is wittier than any other character in this film. He's always in the morally right position. He's the wizard. He's the Gandalf of this movie. I get it.
get it.
Says
I
me
get it.
a-hole.
He's
He
the
arrives
he's the
precisely
wise
what he
one.
means to.
And
Let's
he
go.
has all the correct answers, whether people are willing to hear them or not is a different story.
Angier is the nickel bolas.
My schemes are limited.
And that means Borden is the Ugin who always dies and comes back. And yeah,
Ah.
so it's gotta be Cutter for sure. All day.
Yeah.
Old white guy with a beard. What are you gonna do? Seems to
I
be
mean-
my defining trait of favorite characters, I guess. Tom and Josh
Old
dubbed
white
that
man
on
with a
me.
beard.
I think
Okay, the
year
blokes
two.
and bros, three and
I
four.
know you.
I mean, Michael Caine is insanely requotable in this movie.
Mm.
Like, he has the best lines, and he has only the, like, I don't know. Everyone
best
just
lines.
drops bars. Everyone has bars in this movie. And I'm just like, damn, that's such a good line. That's a good line. Like, even Scarlett Johansson's like, oh, the great Danton is such a good musician. He's a bloody fool. It's like, oh my god, also so good. Like,
Come
To
to burn.
this
Come to
day.
burn 'em.
it's so good. Yeah, we want to establish favorite characters in the movie, everybody.
I thought we could do that.
Esteves.
Yeah.
Cutter.
I've always been Cutter and Borden, not because I think Borden's a great person.
Batman and
but-
Alfred.
Yeah, it's that Batman and Alfred thing, because we see in the end. Cutter also has the best. What you said about lines, his best one is when he reveals how he lied to Angira about drowning.
Yeah.
Mm.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about
Love
that
that line,
so,
Amy.
so much. Please.
Oh,
For the love of God.
Oh, when he just says, "Oh," he said it was agony, and he says it to him knowing
I
a
lied.
knife right in his chest to remind him that no, she was in pain because of everything Angier had done at that moment, taking the daughter and everything else before that. You know what? I'm done with you, Angier. I lied to you. Drowning is complete agony, and your wife went through it.
And also
Oh.
100 of you. went
100
through
of
it.
you, yeah, 100 of
More
you.
than
Yes.
100 of you. Yeah.
It also is a good milestone of their relationship, right? He says that to him. He's like, I once had a friend, blah, blah, blah. And he says it to him to like comfort him,
Yep.
right? In this moment, because it is a tragedy. And then now, after this point, again, I feel like that's why I'm just like Team Borden, because he's like, you've done horrible things, fucking horrible things in the name of this. And like, I don't know, they look at each other like the same way, but I'm just like, yeah, dude, you committed like 100 murders.
Killed a bunch of clones, bro.
But see, that was also like that was part of that. He only got his hands dirty because he didn't want to do the bird in the cage trick. Like he's talking about, Andrew's just talking like he doesn't want to do that. That's not him. And then in hearing that, it's like going home. He's like,
Mhm.
okay, that at least, and part of you is like, oh, okay, she didn't like suffer.
Mhm.
But speaking as a lifeguard, no. That
Oh,
was
you
I was
sweet
like, oh,
summer child.
sweet baby.
That's why it's
But-
terrifying.
But there's also but this is also like he carries that in his mindset that this is the preferred, like of everything else that could happen. If you
Mhm.
drown, you're gonna be somewhat
Yeah,
okay. Like
just
it'll be
going
super
home.
chill.
Mhm.
Like you could just lay back and relax, and drowning's okay.
You just
And
fall
the-
asleep.
And fall
Mhm.
asleep, it'd be great. And like
then Cutter.
it's the understanding also at that point with Cutter. Again, Cutter is systematically giving us the answers. As Corey said, nobody wants to hear them. Nobody likes the answers. But guess what, Papa? It's the truth. And you're gonna have to cut. The chickens came home to roost. And let's remind
next.
you that what I said that put you on, that you took as truth and you have twisted to justify everything else. Nah. I
It was
like
agony.
I think
Nah,
it's also
brah.
that nah, brah. No.
Cutter's
think-
actual
But-
line.
I mean,
He's
there
like,
is
"No,
there
brah."
is
Nah,
something to
dude.
be said
Nah,
because Tesla
ain't
does say, it's
him.
like, have you considered the cost, right? He's like, money's not an option. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, but have you considered the cost?
Cost.
And so after that moment, he has, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's willingly going to kill hundreds of himself and then also sentence Borden to death and take away his entire family.
Mhm.
And he's willing to do that. He's willing to show him, I'm going to die in front of you in order for me to win. And so it's like he has considered the cost. And it's like, again, it's one of those, he's no longer afraid to get his hands dirty, but also like he is still unknowing of like, oh, it was like it was agony. But he's like, cool, it doesn't matter as long as it doesn't happen to me, right? And it's like
As long as
that's
they
like the
win.
really
But
Yeah,
that's
that's
but
kinda
that's
like-
also the question of the machine in and of itself. So when we have that line, Josh brought it up, like I don't know if I'm the man in the box or the one that's that
Mhm.
the thing
ones
is
that comes
that
out.
the thing is that machine, because he doesn't know how it works, he feels he's justified.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
everything that happens, I don't know how it did it, but oh my God, I'm here now and I'm still alive. Or are you still alive? Like it's the whole thing, as soon as you start getting like too far into the weeds of like, how does the machine work? And really, when you start thinking about it, you lose the fact that this man is literally every single time murdering himself because it's
Mhm.
all the hats, baby. It's all your
Mhm.
hats. Like
Mhm.
you keep killing
And
yourself.
yeah,
And two cats. They lived.
They lived.
Those two cats. But it's all
That's all I care about,
like-
really.
yeah. I'm here for cats.
Cats, yeah.
They're
I'm team cats.
looking cats.
Yeah.
I'm team cats.
Teen cats.
My favorite character.
I mean, Allie's pretty
that
great.
fucking cat.
Allie's pretty. Two of them.
But that's kind of the question of like the atrocities that he's been lying to himself this entire time, so everything makes sense. Everything, I don't have to look too far into it. I paid the money. Everything that I want is showing up exactly how I need to do. Everything's okay. I'm getting everything.
I don't
that
care
want.
about this. I care about his secret.
Mr. Caldwell.
The tough part,
Lord
the tough part for me
Caldwell.
that I'll argue against, they're again not. I think both of them are trash, or all three of them.
They're both heels.
They're all three of them are
All three
heels.
heels. Yeah.
The difference between, this is why I think they're equal, because Angier has killed hundreds of himself. However, he is a willing participant.
Mhm.
He is doing it to himself. Borden and Fallon have put his wife and child through this unwillingly. An entire life of this weird, does my husband love me today? Does he not? Is my dad going to treat me nice today? Am I going to wake up and my dad's not going to give a shit about me? Like that, to put people through that unwillingly is another level of
The dad shirt
that
came
as
on.
well.
As somebody who has
Yeah.
experienced,
It's like it's
that
yeah.
kind of like verbal abuse and mental abuse. It's
Mhm.
like being like in that place of like wondering your own, like you just feel for the wife and the kid and you're just like,
Mhm.
oh, you ass.
Oh, I mean, you see her
Asshole.
entire psyche
Oh
just
yeah. Destroys
deteriorate.
her.
Yeah.
Just-
Like that also, I mean, I guess that is one of my favorite parts is when they have that final argument where she's like, "I can't live like this," and he says, "Like, do you think I enjoy
I can live
bloody
like
living?
this.
Do you think I bloody enjoy living?" And like, it hurts.
No, but
and
it's
it
your
kills.
choice. It's not her choice. It's not her fucking choice.
I mean, and that's the thing where it's kind of like their entire life is built upon that trick, right? And that's like,
Yeah.
but that's like also like see again, that's the thing, that's the lesson that Borden ends up learning at the end of it all, is where it's like that's when he's like, it's done, we're done, we don't do this anymore, because he lost his wife,
Yeah.
so he's not in it anymore. Where Fallon and Angier are still in it,
Yeah.
they're still wanting to win,
Try to take
and that's
his
why I'm like,
daughter.
and yeah, I mean that's why like, and he's like,
You're
he's
specifically
like,
Team
this is-
Borden, not Fallon. Yeah.
well, in the end of it all, like Borden's the only one that ends up learning,
Yeah.
right? And then like even Fallon, too late though, in jail, is like, this isn't just a bloody game, Angier. This is my daughter. This is my life. He's like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna hang for this,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
fucking Angier doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like I
Well,
want.
it's not Angier.
He-
That's Lord.
He tears up the fucking thing. He's like,
Caldwell?
I clearly won.
You made your
And then
bed,
and
now
then-
lie in it.
He's like, you won.
Yeah, he's like, this isn't a game. This is my life. And it's like, yeah, and that's the thing where it's like, I don't. In my mind, from what I've seen, I don't feel like Borden and Fallon were going to be willing to kill Angier for the trick.
And then that's what I was thinking of right now. When it's Fallon who sees Angier's fall into the box, he is trying to break it to get him out.
Yeah.
Would Angier do that if
That's
he
what I'm
saw
saying, it's
Fallon
like,
or
yeah,
Borden fall?
like-
He wouldn't.
Mhm.
Angier
just
probably was
step
like,
away.
no, fuck you,
Yeah.
die. Because he was going to kill Fallon. He was like,
Mhm.
depends how fast you could dig. I was like, oh my God. Like, imagine if Borden did that for
That's
Cutter.
that one insy beansy teensy weensy that Fallon has, that he was at least trying to break that glass
Mhm.
to get him out. It's very, again,
Yep.
all three heels. But
All three heels.
Yeah. We've established that. That was
3
just, I was
feet,
just
3
counter
heels.
arguing for
Pieces
the
of shit.
sake of it.
But if you
know?
look
Yeah.
at them,
Cutter and daughter, babyface.
You know who's
Yeah,
the
but
worst?
you know
That
what?
kid who gives the trick away in the audience.
fucking
Her
dick.
nephew.
Where's
That
his
kid.
brother?
Yeah.
But you know
He's
what?
the real heel.
They're all great looking people. I'm just saying.
They are. They're all so beautiful.
Let's-
It's like Man from Uncle. Beautiful people everywhere.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Is there anything more we would have wanted from the film that we would have expected more?
4 hours.
I wish the movie automatically had a replay button.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
all right,
Keep
cool.
going.
Amazing.
Just keep going.
I wish they would have let me back in the theater that day.
to watch the second
I
time
mean,
for free.
hide in the bathroom. Go back.
I wish someone
I've
would have
had
bought me a ticket like they bought Borden that ticket to go see that old man. do
Exactly.
Which, by the way,
goldfish magic.
This is the trick.
Fun fact: does anyone know about Chung Ling Soo?
I had looked
No.
something up about
Reality?
him.
No.
So the whole thing is like he portrays himself as an old crippled Asian man, right? And that's the trick. It's like, oh, actually, he's like a limber dude who can like carry this goldfish bowl with water and fish in there, and he could make it appear. in reality, that's a real person. That is a real magician. But in reality, it's not an Asian dude. It's a white guy doing yellow face. And that was the true trick, is that like this guy is pretending to be the magician from the Orient, but is actually a white guy. So it's interesting to see that, you know, I guess they don't have to go too many layers in, but it's just like, oh yeah, there's a lie and a lie in the performance. And
There's a lie within a lie.
Yeah, there's the masquerading of the whole thing in the movie. And I'm like, that's enough.
Here, can I read you the real quick the IMDb fact about the guy? Sure. His name was William Ellsworth Robinson, a white man who disguised himself as a Chinese man to cash in on the audience's enthusiasm for the exotic. Robinson lived as Chung, never breaking character while in public. He died in March 1918 when a bullet catch trick went wrong. There is doubt about his last words. They were either "My God, I've been shot," or "Oh my God, something's happened. Lower the curtain." Either way, they were both his last words and the first English words he had spoken on stage in 19 years.
Wow.
Dang, homie.
That ingenue was making bank. Cutter was making bank. The real Cutter.
To the character.
A lot of self-sacrifice. Anyway, okay, moving on.
That's method. That's method.
Let's go to the last part of the show, which is going to be one interesting thing, a game, a TV show, a book, a song, any hidden gems we want to share with our audience that has nothing to do with the movie. Who would like to go first?
Really quick, I thought of while we were talking about something very serious, I thought of a joke, naturally. A visual joke is that, you know, on the overlay, I always do images from the movie. I put illusionist graphics.
I'm okay with that.
It would be too funny. Anyway, I'll start. It's a game called Enshrouded. It's made by an independent developer called Keen. I believe they're in Denmark. It's a really cool
Denmark's
RPG survival game. It's still in beta, but it's been in beta for a year. But like, they've added so many cool quality of life things. It's a beautiful game. Like, it's really cool too. The map is huge. I'll be perfectly honest, I've become pretty disillusioned with video games lately, being so entrenched in the strike. And I haven't played video games probably like 3 months. And then finally I was like, I want to play Enshrouded because it's a really cool, like, just like the building system in it is like one of the best in any video game that has a building system in it, and survival and RPG elements. It's cool. It's really fun. And the map is huge. It's cool to get on top of like something really tall and just look around, and you can glide. You have a glider and you can fly. It's so cool. It's fun. It's a fun game.
Nice.
Check it out.
Enshrouded on Steam.
STEM
and Xbox Series X. Thanks for sharing. Who would like to go next? Yes.
Yay, I will go next. So I'm going to recommend a book. I have it on Audible right now because I haven't had my copy come in. But it is by Satoshi Yagisawa. It's called Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. It's actually translated from Japanese. And this is the first book in the Morisaki Bookshop series. But we're basically following a young woman who, and mind you, I've just started. I'm like a couple chapters in. Like, I'm juggling this with Andy Serkis reading The Hobbit. Like, that's the problem I'm currently in. But this book, we're following a young lady who basically has her life upended and upturned. And her mom's like, well, you know, maybe you can come home. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And so her kind of estranged uncle who runs a bookshop reaches out to her and says, hey, why don't you come work for me part-time? It'll take care of your room and board. And then that way you can kind of get out of your funk. You don't have to really get stuck. And it's just really warm and beautiful. And the translation has this lovely, like, gentleness to it that endears you not only to our main character, but also kind of like the world that's building around her, and how, and really kind of how new beginnings and like your family can really shape and change everything that you're going through. So yeah, I fully recommend it.
Boom.
All right.
Boom.
Writing it down right now.
Days at the Morisaki Bookshop.
It also turned into a movie, but I haven't seen the movie. So
What?
yeah, they turned it into a movie.
What?
It's an international bestseller. What?
What movie?
What?
Oh, 2010. This is an old
You said
movie.
Tom's favorite movie. It's Tiff's favorite word.
Movie. Yeah.
Movie.
Film.
Yeah.
How old is this? How old is this book?
Cinema.
Film.
Moving
Cinema.
pictures.
All right.
Donkeys.
Donkey. What?
Talkies,
Donkeys.
not donkeys.
I said donkeys.
You're talkies.
I said talkies.
I'm going to ask people to follow a certain person on social media, a very intelligent person.
Called
not
the
you, is it?
Azorian one.
Not this time. Not this time.
Wow.
Not
I was
this
waiting for
time,
that.
you.
Really like
Almost.
fish.
Parrot.
They
Right
got me.
there.
Dang it.
Can you make an OnlyFans account that's called the Azorians Ones?
Yes. Oh my. See, that's I call it the prestige. To follow Dan McClellan on Instagram, YouTube,
McClellan.
TikTok. Dan McClellan.
Oh,
Dan
sorry.
McClellan.
Is he the theologian, not theologian?
Yes, he is the scholar of the Bible and religion, and a lot of it, 99% of all of his reels are correcting misconceptions about religion, what the Bible says, what it actually says. He tends to go after those who tend to lean too far to the right, who use religion in their weaponize religion in their stances, and he tends to make a reel where he stitches himself into there and says, "No, you're wrong, because this is what it says," and he literally shows the.
Oh, he
the way the
actually
Bible-
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
do you follow him just
nice.
because he wears a comic book tee in
I
every
was
single
getting there.
That's one of the reasons he reposts.
I'm
his stuff
still in the
consistently.
turn, Tom, and you went right to the. No, he at the end of every video he does.
I'm like
say,
Gordon. I could see your trick from the back of the
Yes,
stage.
You saw the trap.
Technical,
You saw
baby.
the trap
Back in the
door.
theater.
And at the end, he always says, "And the fit for this video is," and he'll say the artist, the comic, the character, what is on his shirt, which I have mad respect for, given our origins here. So, Dan McClellan, he also will have a book out by the time you hear this. It is a book called The Bible Says So, where he goes over what the actual writings say, not what people have turned it into saying, and so on and so forth. So, Dan McClellan on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Not Ian McClellan.
Not Ian, much younger.
But you should follow him too, just for
Yeah, why not? No, go ahead. No, follow Ian too.
Alex, you're
Quality of
McClellan.
life.
And also the Azorian Ones only fans, the Prestige.
Corey, what do you got?
Unit.
Yep, there it is.
For me, there's not much
Abracadabra.
new happening, but this is something I've been enjoying more. I've been trying to do what I can to band behind giving my time and money to larger platforms, larger companies, shopping at Target and stuff a lot less when I can. Obviously, there's parental needs where we need a diaper at 9 p.m. and there's a Target on the street. Try my best. One of the things I'm
Good.
doing to try to do that better is I canceled a few subscriptions to streamers, but I renewed my one to Dropout because it's been one of my favorite streaming services of the past. I've had it for almost 2 years now, or a year and a half, or something like that. I adore it, and it just keeps getting better and better. It is what College Humor used to be, and is now run by a bunch of wonderfully talented people who are uber inclusive, very kind to each other, family-like, and have very little to no discrimination against any sort of who they allow on the show, which I adore. And so one of the shows that I've been watching a lot is season 2 of Very Important People, which was brought to us by
So funny.
Vic Michaelis. They are a wonderful talent, and the people who are on that show are talented too. The premise of it is that these improvisers are brought in not knowing what they're going to be made up in, and they sit in a makeup chair for hours on a time, not knowing, not getting to see, their eyes closed, blindfolded, whatever it may be. And then they are put in front of a mirror, and they have 30 minutes to come up with a character, and then they sit down for a 60-minute style interview with Vic Michaelis, and it has become one of my favorite things of all time. That
I'm so
Game
jealous as
changer.
an actor when I see
Game
that. I'm like,
changers.
oh my
Yes,
God,
game
that would be
changers.
so much fun.
it's everything they have on there. The Dungeons and Drag Queens I just started last night, which I'm very
Really?
excited for. I just started last night. It's so good
I
so
will
far.
spoil
I'm
it.
just
So
one
good.
episode in. But yeah, it's wonderful. The other thing I watched a bunch, if for our fellow nerds out there, it made me think of it, is a show called Actually.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful trivia show where you have to find something wrong with their question and correct it by buzzing in and saying, actually, this is the real thing. So yeah, Dropout is by far your best bang for your buck too. They churn out content so quickly,
Constantly.
and nothing so far that I have personally watched, and I've watched a lot of it. I watched a lot of Dimension 20, all that kind of stuff. None of it has been a flop. Nothing is missed.
Yep.
Personally. So if you want to buy another streamer, cancel one of the other services, this is my recommendation
Make
to
some
you,
noise.
as it
I
were.
love that.
Make Some Noise is fantastic.
Some
The
Noise
Noise
is so
Boys.
good.
My feed is so
there's-
many
there's-
random things, but that comes up like so much because I watch every time it comes up, I watch it and I'm like, oh my god, that
The Noise Boys are Zach Oyama, Paul Rubin, and not Paul Rubin. R.I.P. R.I.P.
Ruben Pauls.
wow.
No.
Ruben from Ocean's 11.
No. No, I'm never
A
gonna get
Reuben
it.
sandwich.
It's fine. It's fine.
Mm.
He directed Werewolf Within. The movie.
Paul
Ruben
Giamatti.
Polanski.
Werewolf?
Huh?
Nope.
Anyways, so
Dropout.
for my one interesting thing, we'll keep it a basic one. It's an anime. For those who knew about a show back in the day, early Adult Swim,
Josh Rubin.
Josh Rubin is
Oh,
not
Josh
the
Rubin anime. Nice.
It is
Right.
called
I'll be excited to
Fully
know.
Cooley, and that's not the anime. That's not
Oh,
the anime
darn
at all. But this show that I'm going to talk about, imagine Fully Cooley, but a lot more slower in pace. Actually, a lot more talking about like the internal intricacies of people who don't know how they're affecting each other. And I thought it was really interesting. So Fully Cooley has a lot of like, I don't know, paranormal alien stuff. This has the aliens and curses and demons and yokai. This show's called Dandadan.
Dan.
And
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it a lot. I just finished up season 1. What I'm talking about is Fully Cooley is high and frenetic energy. It's really cool. Nerdy kid meets like a really awesome chick who like kind of turns his life upside down. And this show kind of has the same sense, but except you got a really hot grandma and there's yokais
So hot.
and
Nice.
there's a really cool meet cute about it all where these two characters are like constantly like, oh, I'm afraid like I'm gonna hurt their feelings, or I don't know how they see me or how they perceive me. All I want to do is do right by them. It's very interesting because it's so much of a slower pace internally as like you're going through each episode. Each episode really plays into the next. So I was just really, really impressed as like, oh, this is like a new show that like younger generations would actually get into. And there's a lot more considerations going on. You know, I was raised on a time where like characters would just yell at each other, punch each other, how they express their feelings for each other. Here's like there's so much more consideration. It's really cool. So if you got young ones who are, you know, checking out anime, check out Dandadan. I really enjoy it. And you would too, because it's just a good show.
And that opening is fire.
It is. With that, Josh, how about you sing us out? And
And this
Tell-
is the
tell us
part
where-
of the show. No, just kidding.
This is it. This is the
Really, we're not even the original versions of us.
No.
We the other
No.
doubles that no.
It's a
Everybody,
double.
thank you so much for watching or listening. If you're on your favorite podcast app, that's awesome. Check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has everything that we've ever done. But really, like, YouTube is a great place to go because we have other shows that we have other shows. There's also Twitch. There's so many things that we like to do, and if you want to join that journey, you want to be a part of it
You want
in
to fuck
some
around
way.
and find out?
Do you want to
Sorry.
FAFO? Do you want to FAFO with us? Join the Nerd On Nation, powered by Patreon. Nerdon.tv/Patreon. And you, for as little as $1 a month, like that's
$1.
really low. Like wow, and you can keep the ring lights on, and stuff, and it's really helpful. And,
Oh no.
And also,
Oh, we didn't pay.
His dollar is missing. There's a
no.
dollar.
oh,
Join
no.
the Patreon.
Please.
Corey's
need it.
light's gone out. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
Somebody paid.
someone joined.
we have a new Patreon.
And then and also join the Discord. Why? Because
Why?
it's just cool people. There's just really cool people in there that are just always
try
so
to beat me
supportive.
at the framed. I'll try to get it less than the many guesses I can get. I usually get it in one.
Yeah.
Really?
That's pretty amazing. But that's it. That is it. There isn't
it.
any more. Go home. You're still here? You know the drill. As
Sure.
always, nerd on.
Nerd on.
Watching closely.
Pretty.
You know, one thing I didn't say and I really like is when the guy
Ending broadcast.